I never imagined my life would turn into a story people would one day listen to in silence. But here I am, telling it, not out of anger, but out of truth. I am a mother. I am a widow. And I am a woman who gave everything she had to the people she loved most. For years after my husband passed away, the house felt too quiet. The nights felt longer, and the days blended together. My son became my anchor, or at least I believed he was. Ryan used to call me every day, at first just to check on me, to ask if I had eaten, if I slept well, if the house felt too empty. I believed those calls came from love. Then the requests started. Small at first, a little help with groceries, a phone bill, gas money. I told myself this is what mothers do. We help, we sacrifice, we give. When Ryan married Dana, I welcomed her into my home with open arms. I cooked for her, listened to her stories, treated her like the daughter I never had. She smiled, she thanked me, but her eyes never quite did. Over time, the help became expectation. Rent, vacations, furniture, gifts. Every time I hesitated, I was reminded how hard life was for them, how expensive everything had become, how lucky I was to own my home, how lonely I must be without them. So I paid, and I paid, and I paid. I told myself money could be replaced, but family could not. The night everything changed was supposed to be ordinary. They invited friends over, I cooked, I served, I smiled. I stood in my own kitchen feeling like a guest in my own life. I was pouring coffee when I heard Dana laugh. A sharp, careless laugh. She leaned toward her friends and said something she thought I could not hear. She said, "That old woman is only good for paying our bills." The room went quiet. Not because they were shocked, but because they were waiting to see how I would react. I looked at my son. My son. The boy I raised. The boy whose scraped knees I kissed. The boy who once held my hand when he was afraid of the dark. He laughed. In that moment, something inside me broke. Not loudly, not dramatically. It broke quietly, like a final breath leaving a tired body. I realized I had been erased, reduced to a wallet, a resource, an inconvenience that came with benefits. I said nothing. I cleaned up. I smiled. I went to bed. But that night, I did not sleep. I thought about every check, every transfer, every time I ignored my own needs. I thought about my husband and how hard we worked, how careful we were, how we planned for a future that never included being humiliated in our own home. By morning, my decision was made. I did not scream, I did not confront, I did not beg for respect. I simply stopped. I closed the accounts, I froze the cards, I protected what was left of my life. Hours later, my phone rang. It was Ryan, his voice shaking, embarrassed, angry, panicked. He said their cards were declined, that they were at lunch, that people were staring, that he needed me to fix it immediately. I listened, quietly, calmly, and for the first time in years, I told him no. Not out of revenge, but out of survival. I told him I was done being used, done being laughed at, done paying for love that was never real. He accused me of betrayal, of selfishness, of abandoning me. But abandonment is not leaving. Abandonment is staying while being erased. That day, I packed a small bag. I left the house that held so many memories, not to run away, but to find myself again. I took a one-way flight, not because I had nowhere to go, but because I finally knew where I was going. Peace. I stayed with a friend. I walked slowly. I ate without guilt. I slept without being needed only for what I could give. Ryan called less, then not at all. Weeks passed, then months. One afternoon, a message came. It was short, it was awkward, it was full of regret. He said he was sorry, that he never realized how much I gave, that life was harder without my help. I read it. I cried, not because I missed the money, but because I missed the son I thought I had. I replied gently. I said I loved him, but love does not mean self-destruction. If we are to have a relationship again, it must be built on respect, not dependence. I don't know how the story ends, but I know how it begins again. With boundaries, with dignity, with a woman finally choosing herself. If this story touched something inside you, if you have ever given too much to people who gave too little, please remember this. You are not selfish for protecting your heart. You are not cruel for saying no. And it's never too late to reclaim your life. If this story resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe for more real human stories that remind us we are not alone. Your voice matters, your story matters, and you deserve to be valued. Thank you for listening. If this story reached your heart, take a moment to let me know. Tap the like button so more people who need this message can find it. Share it with someone who may be silently giving too much. And if you want to hear more real stories about strength, boundaries, and self-worth, subscribe to this channel. Your support allows these voices to be heard and these stories to be told. I would also love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment and tell me what you felt while listening. Thank you for being here and for listening with your heart.